When you approach a building, when you enter a building, you have one interpretation of what you might expect, and then you are drawn in with a different sense when you enter. I'm Randall Marsh, and I founded Wood Marsh with my partner Roger Wood in 1983. We were commissioned to design this house in late 1989. We're in Caulfield, which is just on the edge of inner Melbourne. Predominantly we're Middle Europeans who moved here just pre and post-war, and the building stock is reflected. To make solid architecture, you have to have the trust of the client. They asked for a family house with 3 or 4 bedrooms. They did say that they wanted the house to not give anything away from the street. Other than that was really left to us, and the only progression of the design really was that they wanted to have a space big enough to have 300 people for their first son's bar mitzvah, and that in fact did happen. At the time, and even now, our reference was art, and in particular sculpture, and in particular the Northern American modernist sculptors such as Serra, Judd, and you see elements of both in this house. I think we took the volumes as one thing and then separated that from the next section. So it was a series of components expressed both internally and externally. And that applied also to the materiality, in that the same materials ran from the outside inside. So there's not a separation of the two. There's not a skin, but rather there's a solid mass that is both. The door to the entry is tucked under the feet of the bathroom hanging out. Your vision is compressed and angled in one direction, but then you look up and you see the staircase. As you enter a more compact living space, you see the boxes, which are the 3 bedrooms articulated, sinking down into the space. It makes the space of the living room feel like a huge mass, double height, with elements sitting down in it. In reality, it's actually just a single level. They also asked us unusually to design all the furniture, which we did. And then you go through a small passageway, and then it leads to what is the kitchen and family area at the back. There is a sculptural spine that runs through the building from the minute you open the front door as you move through the house. What we've done is split the building with slices of glass. One, to articulate those various spaces, but also then to add shafts of light cutting through the building, which further adds to that drama. And so, for example, with the foyer space, there's almost no windows in the foyer space, but there is a skylight in the foyer space. I don't see architecture as being absolute or ever finished. I see it as just fragments of an ongoing dialogue, and this house is reflective of what we're doing. The architecture doesn't look like a house. There's no hierarchy. There's no front or back. When you have a complex form like this and a complex composition, we were quite interested to then tie it together with one palette being concrete, cast cement render, glass and stainless steel. It's repeated right through the house. So it adds another further complexity because you're never quite sure exactly where you are within the building. With the exception that upstairs goes much darker and much more cave-like. When we designed it, I don't think there were many buildings designed like this at all. was always perceived that the building would patina, particularly the entry form, because there was no gutters, so water just runs down the face of it. The client was actually aware of that and they liked the idea. One thing that we were interested in is to carve positive space out of negative space. So it's not front yard, backyard, which is the traditional housing type. In this, we've cut out spaces immediately either side. The hierarchy is quite unusual on the site. The late Gordon Ford designed the landscape. This was one of the last projects he did. 30 years later, you don't lose the things that you feel strongly about and emotionally about and artistically drive you. I would hope that it still stands in 100 years' time as part of the very broad range of great architecture that's been built in Melbourne. Students still look to it and are interested in it. Given the attention it's received over a very long period of time, adding something to Australian architecture, that's quite gratifying.